Shalom, my name is Yoshua Yaakov Ben Avraham. I'm making this video from Jerusalem. The date today is August the 24th, and I'm a didactic scientist. I'm the author of the trilogy Humanomics, and its two paradigms. The central organizing principle is the first, which is also the cognitive behavioral science first principle, receive it to give, which simply means receiving the authentic you to give the authentic you. To whom? The authentic you. Okay. Your children, your family, your spouse, your community, your nation. Okay. And the other paradigm is the new economic paradigm, the integration of labor, which identifies information in classical terms. The new agent of transformation replaces the division of labor. And that's really what this video is about. And I will try my best to get through this. Biden is one of the top newsmakers of the day because Barack has chosen him. Basically, I want to say just one thing, that Tim McCain might have been a better choice because it would have signaled the clarity of perception on the part of Obama what is the actual solution, which is the Virginia model, nationalized, implemented nationally is what I'm meaning to say in America, and in turn localized, brought into every one of the states, so that the results that have happened with the Virginia model in Virginia can be accessed and achieved, obviously, in all the other states of the United States. Okay, so we see that it was some post-partisan political posturing, and really the safe choice to cover the bases. It will not bring about the solution to fixing, or I really would say it a little differently. I don't think fixing the economy is what has to be done. It's in transition, and the result of it will be a transformation of every one of the economies in every one of the states, and thus a transformation of the whole U.S. economy. And really, so Obama's campaign dialogue is poetry. And what it's lacking is the prose. And that's really what I want to talk about and focus on. And so let us move on and say that not only Obama's poetry, but Biden's and McCain's are all lacking the prose, as none have yet given sufficient indication of how we achieve the new national goal, which is to adopt, develop nationally the underlying paradigm shift in economics, which is what? The new economic paradigm, the integration of labor. That paradigm shift has to be adopted. And there's no indication in any of the articulations that that's happening so far. Okay, Obama's campaign poetry so far has not explained where we're going, nor what we need to do to get there, while his continuing problem is his story's lack of the prose. And I keep repeating that. There's the poetry, very harmonious, very unifying, but there's got to be prose. It's got to deliver. As the prose explains how we execute our going forward together and getting to the goal of making things better for all Americans. And that's what the new economic paradigm does. Obama's poetry and Biden and McCain's prose are not as yet indicative. There's no indication. I'm repeating myself very deliberately because it's an important part. There's no indication as yet of how we achieve the new national goal, which is to adopt, develop, implement, and acculturate nationally the underlying paradigm shift in economics, which is the integration of labor. I'm its author, and that's how I happen to know this. Okay. And by the way, Barack Obama's already said on one occasion publicly, and I think it was the New York Times reporter, David, okay, it'll come to me later, that he thinks there's a distinct possibility that what is needed is a paradigm shift. Well, we're already in the paradigm shift. Okay, having said that. And so what is indicative of how we achieve the goal? Why is this important? We have to have some indication. Because this is what answers the basic question, what now creates macro sustainable demand? Because what creates macro sustainable demand also creates national wealth. And it also creates jobs massively. And to do that, we have to reallocate massively the market resources from the old into the new. model of the integration of labor in general, and in particular its projects that develop world-class global technologic infrastructure, which is the vehicle to localize the Virginia model in all the states. Well, pretty much, folks, I've said it all. I can go on and repeat this in a number of different ways, but really I've just now completely said all that has to be said. And what we need to emphasize and invite is that the post-partisan political posturing has to come to an end. And why? Because we have to get on with the actual, the central narrative of the election, which is the debates on what creates wealth, the new economic paradigm, and how do we attain this. In general terms, and specifically, what does it mean? It means the Virginia model being developed and made operational and acculturated through global technologic infrastructure that's localized in every one of the states of the United States. And so that's the debate that's missing. And then, of course, there's the more academic question of how we do this. And the question of from the Chicago School, of course, Friedman's laissez-faire people would be markets versus government. And the short answer is really both, because the governments are good at certain things and the markets are good at other things. And the things that the government is good at has to be done in any event first. We have to seek and secure when the post-partisan political posturing stops, there's a new administration. The president and his administration has to seek and secure a mandate to develop, implement, and cultivate, to re-educate, retain, and retool the entire U.S. workforce that will create tens of millions of sustainable jobs beginning at the end of year one, with tens of thousands a month coming online, which will take the economy from 14 trillion to 45 to 50 trillion. It will eliminate the national debt. It will eliminate Social Security, the trade deficit. It will, through the life of the project, which will be amortized over 20 years, requiring a 5 trillion investment, 60% of which, I might add, will come from the G9 strategic partners, such as the European Union, and the 40% from America. So the total investment for America amortized over 20 years is 2 trillion. So we're really talking about 200 billion a year, if I got that right. Yes. So we're not talking about we're talking about something that's absolutely manageable to re-educate, retrain, and retool the entire U.S. workforce. So it's a win-win situation, and you've got to add debt service, by the way, to that. But okay, so what else is left to say? Let's do it. So let me conclude and let me summarize with what I've said. The world has changed. The local reality has collapsed. I haven't explained that in this video, but I'll simply say that the result of that is the collapse of both East and West systems that are now converging to the middle. Communism, capitalism, and the center, the void, will be filled over the next decade with Humanomics in general. But far more particularly, it's two paradigms received to give in the integration of labor. The latter is what this is about. And what does the integration of labor mean as the new economic paradigm developed, implemented, and acculturated as world-class global technologic infrastructure in America? It means the Virginia model, developed, implemented, and acculturated, and localized in every one of the 50 states. This is a win-win situation, folks. Now, my name is Yoshua Yaakov. I am the author of Humanomics in general, and its two paradigms in particular. And I wish you Kabbalah B'Shvilatet. That's the blessing and received a gift from Jerusalem. Thank you for listening.